116th all-time meeting between the Steelers and the Browns. The weather today here in Cleveland, 27 degrees, wind at about 19 miles per hour. It'll be windy, mostly cloudy skies the rest of the afternoon here in Ohio. Steelers won the toss, but they have deferred, so Pittsburgh will kick it off with Sean Sweezum, and Joshua Cribbs is back deep for Cleveland. Cribbs is averaging 21.4 yards per return. Eric Mangini told us last week was the healthiest that Cribbs has looked in ages after the foot injury. We're underway. Steelers looking for the number 2 seed. Sweezum puts it on the ground. It's scooped up at the 20-yard line by Ventrone, and Ray Ventrone is dropped at the 35. An 18-yard return. Ke'Aaron Fox with a hit on special teams. Colt McCoy making his 8th start in his rookie season out of Texas.
Yeah, I said it took him a while to get over the disappointment of his last week's subpar performance, but putting on the tape of the Steelers defense got him quickly back on track, Ian, and that fired him up today for this spoiler opportunity for the Browns.
Cleveland coming off a 20-10 loss to Baltimore. McCoy threw 3 interceptions. He was picked off by Ed Reed twice. Mike Bell is in the game, not Peyton Hillis, who is active but suffering from rib injuries. Spread the formation. McCoy put it on the money to Massaquoi, and he's out of bounds. A first down for Cleveland and a 14-yard pass play to Massaquoi. Starting offense for the Cleveland Browns, Joe Thomas going to the Pro Bowl for the 4th consecutive year, the number 3 pick out of Wisconsin back in 2007. We just saw Massaquoi. He threw for a touchdown last week in that loss to Baltimore. 29-yard touchdown pass to Robisky. 1st and 10 out near midfield for Cleveland. Shotgun formation for McCoy. Throwing, knocked up in the air and picked off. It's Troy Polamalu back in the lineup, and Polamalu with the interception.
Ball intended for Benjamin Watson. McCoy put it on his hands, but the cold hands of Watson couldn't bring it in. In fact, he was his own worst enemy on that play. Bounced the ball up in the air, where Polamalu picks up his 7th pick of the year. Looking right here is Benjamin Watson. Gets one hand on it, then his 3rd attempt at it goes right to Polamalu.
Some guys just have a knack, though, Dan. 6 Pro Bowls, Polamalu's out for 2 weeks, and the ball finds him.
Absolutely. That's why he is considered, along with Ed Reed, a guy that Colt McCoy knows too well, as the best in the business.
Well, he knows him really well, considering last week and now this week on the first series, Polamalu with a pick. Play action for Roethlisberger. Dialing up the deep ball. Roethlisberger up in the air. Separation. Wallace. Touchdown, Steelers. Pittsburgh opens with a bang. 56 yards. The speedster Wallace splits defenders Ward and Hayden, and the Steelers on the board first.
Longest catch of the season for number 17, and this is what he does as well as anybody in the league. He flies. Look at him adjust to the ball. T.J. Ward caught up short, and right behind him is Joe Hayden getting beat by Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace, number 2 in the NFL, average yards per catch, behind Deshaun Jackson. Sweezum tacks on the extra point. And Roethlisberger, his longest completion of the season. It goes to Mike Wallace. Just like that, the Pittsburgh Steelers out to a 7-0 lead off the turnover. What a connection Roethlisberger to Wallace is becoming. Wallace in just his 2nd year out of Mississippi. 8th career touchdown, a 40-plus yards between those two. Already the most in team history.
And that's exactly how you want to play the game. After the turnover, go for the bomb. Your defense is demoralized. Offensively, you're feeling good, and what a payoff that was.
Another bounce. It is Ventrone again. They are not giving Cribbs a chance to touch the football, and Ventrone comes up shy of the 30-yard line as Sylvester makes the play on special teams.
Go back to the touchdown. Check out T.J. Ward, the rookie free safety here, as Emmanuel Sanders comes down the field, and then you've got the deep post route by Mike Wallace. Watch the focus by T.J. Ward. He comes swinging back over here, and to watch where the ball goes. Right over the top of him. Hayden is beat. Touchdown, 56 yards for the Steelers.
On first down for the Browns. Again, it's Mike Bell in this formation setting up as a receiver. Shotgun, McCoy gets rid of it and bounces it in the direction of Massaquoi. Lawrence Timmons providing the pressure. Take a look at the Pittsburgh defense. They are trying to get Aaron Smith back. In the meantime, Ziggy Hood has been starting at that defensive end position, and Smith is out with that partially torn tricep. Linebackers, James Harrison, Pro Bowl for the 4th consecutive year, dominant outside linebacker. And in the secondary already, he has played a role. Troy Polamalu is back, one of the elite defensive players in the National Football League. 2nd and 10 now for Cleveland. From the gun, McCoy, pressure, look out. McCoy gets rid of it, and he could not get it to Mike Bell. It's incomplete. Pittsburgh will bring pressure from all angles. Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator. William Gay that time on the rush.
Well, Gay has 2 sacks on the season. Watch as he comes totally free to the quarterback. Mike Bell knows he's got the screen. He lets Gay go by, and his quarterback has to pay for that decision.
4 plays for Cleveland on offense, 4 passes. And it's 3rd and 10 now for the Browns. McCoy in his first start of the season and of his career went for 281 yards and a touchdown against the Steelers back in week 6. McCoy getting rid of it quickly, and this time Watson is able to secure it for a first down. He's brought down at the 39 by James Farrier. It's a 12-yard hookup.
Well, we see McCoy go to the sidelines, but here's Watson right here. That's a great read by young Colt McCoy as Seneca Wallace comes into the game to replace him. And we'll see exactly how they use Joshua Cribbs now as Seneca is the quarterback.
They'll bunch it to the far side with Wallace, the former Seattle Seahawk, operating from the gun. Sidearm throw. It's Cribbs trying to get him out in space, and the Steelers didn't bite. James Harrison ranging over to make the play along with Brett Kiesel, and they limit Cribbs to a gain of 1.
We're going to see a lot of Joshua Cribbs today in a lot of different places. He'll also run the Wildcat formation for the Browns. That time with a couple of blockers out in front, could only manage a couple of yards on that quick pass by Seneca Wallace.
The Browns did beat Pittsburgh last year when Pittsburgh needed the win to get to the playoffs, and Cribbs played a large role in that victory running the football. On a 2nd and 9, Bell in the backfield. Shotgun McCoy. They'll throw it underneath and complete it to Chancey Stuckey for a 4-yard gain. So a modest gain on 2nd down. It sets up 3rd down. Peyton Hillis is active, but he is banged up. Hillis dealing with rib injuries that he suffered last week against Baltimore, and he took a major shot from Ed Reed. And Peyton Hillis doesn't look like a guy that's coming into the game anytime soon.
Yeah, he took another type of shot before the game, so he could get out onto the field today.
That would be an injection. At least that's what some of the reports were prior to this game. 7 plays, 7 passes for the Browns. They trailed Pittsburgh 7-0 early stages of the first quarter. McCoy trying to get rid of it, and he's going to be whistled down. Ziggy Hood getting to the quarterback. 2nd-year pro out of Missouri, 1st-round pick, Evander Ziggy Hood.
Yeah, that's 45 sacks now for the Steelers, and they've come from 13 different players. So Hood picks up his 3rd here. That's 6 now that the Browns have been able to get on young Colt McCoy in 2 games.
Reggie Hodges averaging just under 44 yards per kick. Antoine Randall, the veteran, waiting. Short kick. It bounces towards Randall, and he gets drilled at the 30-yard line. Steve Octavian on special teams getting down the field. Polamalu with the pick, and it turns into 7 points. The bomb from Roethlisberger to Wallace. Steelers in front.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The Droid Pro by Motorola, finally a work phone worth taking home. And by the Lexus December to Remember sales event, now for a limited time at your Lexus dealer.
We are on the southern shore of Lake Erie, Cleveland Browns Stadium. 7-0 Pittsburgh leading Cleveland with 11:35 to play in this first quarter. Troy Polamalu with an interception on the first Cleveland possession of the day. Steelers have it for the second time. They ran one play and a 56-yard touchdown. Roethlisberger to Wallace. Handoff to Rashard Mendenhall. Little shake and bake move for a 3-yard gain, and Derek Robinson there defensively to bring down Mendenhall. Roethlisberger, an Ohio native. He was born in Lima. He is 11-2 in his home state in his NFL career.
And he told us yesterday that he likes his chances with his wide receivers against anybody, but particularly against a couple of rookie defensive backs. And we've already seen the speed of Wallace and the arm strength of Roethlisberger result in a touchdown.
Double tight end set with Miller and Spaeth for Pittsburgh. This is a 2nd and 7. Roethlisberger, protection holds up. And offline, trying to hit Hines Ward. Joe Hayden drawing the coverage against the 13-year veteran. Starting offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Marquise Pouncey. The word that Mike Tomlin used to describe him, special. He's going to the Pro Bowl as a rookie center in the NFL. Backs and receivers, Heath Miller returning after missing a couple of games with post-concussion issues. And Miller, certainly an impact player for Roethlisberger in this offense. Had 5 catches, 73 yards in the 27-3 win over Carolina. Isaac Redman is in the game. This is a 3rd and 7 now. Play clock winding down. Roethlisberger. Catch made. Hines Ward. Clean catch at the 40-yard line. It covers 8 yards and a first down for Pittsburgh.
And Roethlisberger pointing to the veteran, saying great catch, because this was a real fastball outside here to Hines Ward. Watch as he reaches out with his hands on a cold day, makes the catch, gets both feet in, first down Pittsburgh.
And Dan, that is catch number 950 in the career of Hines Ward. 4-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl MVP. And a big-time pro. Handoff. Mendenhall. And he is driven down by Gokong, the former Philadelphia Eagle. They limit Mendenhall to a 3-yard gain. Defensively for the Cleveland Browns, it's Derek Robinson, former San Diego Charger, Miami Dolphin, getting the start. It's been a revolving door at that defensive end position. Linebackers could be the final game in a Browns uniform for Eric Barton. He was with Oakland and the Jets, a veteran presence, but the Browns could be moving on at that spot. And in the secondary, Joe Hayden, the number 7 overall pick. He's got 6 interceptions this season. Just behind Asante Samuel and now Troy Polamalu on a pitch for Mendenhall. 2nd and 7. Looking for blockers and just did not have a lot of room to work with. Angling towards that sideline for a 4-yard gain. Matt Roth with a tackle. NFL Today update. We head to New York and check in with JB.
Ian and Dan, Atlanta can clinch the NFC South and home field with the win. They get started quickly on their opening drive. Matt Ryan hooking up with tight end Tony Gonzalez, capping a 10-play, 77-yard drive. They lead it 7-0 over Carolina. Tampa right now 3-0 over New Orleans. Tampa needs a win and some help to get in. Ian and Dan.
JB, you like the way Matty Ice has been playing for the Atlanta Falcons, Dan?
He's had a superb year.
3rd and 3.
Helps having Michael Turner back in the backfield as well.
Redmond is in there. Roethlisberger on a slant. And look at Wallace go. Mike Wallace stays on his feet. And hit from behind by Abram Elam. Wallace wants to be known not just as a speedster, but as an all-around receiver. Well, 41 yards.
Part of being an all-around receiver is catching the tough ball over the middle. Again, it's a fastball from Big Ben. Again, it's over the middle, and now this is where it becomes fun. You get that type of speed loose in the secondary. Second huge play for Wallace.
2 catches, 97 yards for Wallace. He has 6 100-yard receiving games this season. It looks like he's going to hit number 7 here, potentially in the first quarter. On first down from the 12. Steelers looking for more. Roethlisberger throwing into a crowd. and it's incomplete. Antoine Randall L., the intended target.
Well, real close to being picked off. Neither Antoine Randall L. or Joe Hayden saw this ball coming. It appeared to be one of those miscommunications between, a veteran wide receiver, Randall L. in his 9th year, and of course the quarterback, Roethlisberger.
5th straight season with over 3,000 yards passing. That extends a team record that Ben already holds. 2nd and 10. Back to the ground game. Mendenhall trying to bust it to the outside. And Mendenhall tough to bring down as he spins his way just shy of the 5. T.J. Ward. Rashard Mendenhall drafted in the 1st round in 2008. Just take a look at this list, Dan. It is a who's who from that draft with McFadden and Stewart. There's Mendenhall, Chris Johnson, Matt Forte, Ray Rice, Charles Slayton, Peyton Hillis. 1,000-yard rushers across the board.
And who would ever think that Peyton Hillis would join that crowd? But he has found a home here in Cleveland.
As the 227th pick out of Arkansas that year. Steelers were looking for a timeout. Did they get it? 7-0 Steelers in front. Pittsburgh Steelers looking for their 3rd division title in the last 4 years. They'll get it with a win or a Baltimore loss against Cincinnati today. Ravens currently with a 3-0 lead over the Bengals. Pittsburgh leading Cleveland 7-0 with 7:42 to go in this 1st quarter. And it was Cleveland that used the timeout. Colt McCoy already intercepted by Troy Polamalu. And the Steelers now facing a 3rd and 3.
Talking to Mike Tomlin, he says, we don't need motivation for this game. We know it's all about. The veterans know. The rookies, they follow the veterans.
9th play of the drive for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger out of the gun on a 5-receiver set. Roethlisberger trying to do it himself. Diving and comes up just short, but he's got a 1st down inside the 1. Marcus Bernard helped save the touchdown.
And it appeared that the Browns knew the quarterback draw was coming because they saw Roethlisberger change the play. They crowded the middle, and yet Roethlisberger splits the linebackers, gets inside of Bernard, and gets the 1st down.
Doug Legursky has come on, 2nd-year offensive lineman out of Marshall. And Legursky lining up in the backfield. And Rob Ryan's defense stop him. Handoff right up the middle. It's Mendenhall. He's in. Touchdown Steelers. Pittsburgh adds to its lead. 10 plays, 71 yards, and the Steelers are doing whatever they want to on offense so far.
Yeah, 315-pound Legursky leading Mendenhall into the end zone rather easily. T.J. Ward trying to fill the hole, misses on the tackle. And Mendenhall, that's 12 rushing touchdowns now for the 3rd-year pro.
Mendenhall over 1,000 yards in back-to-back years. Came in 6th in the NFL in rushing as Sweezum adds the extra point, and the Steelers with a 14-0 advantage over the Cleveland Browns. Pittsburgh trying to lock up the number 2 seed on the road.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sony and Sony Internet TV. Television and internet together at last. And by Toyota.
The Ring of Honor here at Cleveland Browns Stadium. So much history with this franchise. The problem has been the recent history. Eric Mangini, 10-21 as head coach of the Browns, trying to restore their credibility and their relevance, and that's the job that Mike Holmgren now has, running this franchise.
And when you think about this franchise, that Ring of Honor is really the history of more than just this franchise, but of the NFL as well.
Cribbs trying to track that one down. He does at the 5-yard line. Stutter step, and Cribbs is bottled up at the 18 by Ke'Aaron Fox. The Fouts Focus this week. the Pro Bowl quarterback, is looking at defense.
Always. The Steelers now lead the NFL with 45 sacks. And in game 1 against the Browns, they used a variety of blitz and stunts to get after McCoy. Double twist results in McCoy having nowhere to run nor hide. And this combo of James Ferrier and Lawrence Timmons is one of 5 sacks recorded on the day from the creative mind of defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau. This could be a huge injury for the Browns. That's Joshua Cribbs unable to get up.
Training staff out to help him.
It appears to be a right ankle injury for Joshua Cribbs as he's on this return here. Number 57 is Kieran Fox. Watch that right ankle as Fox comes right down on top of it. Remember, Cribbs had 4 dislocated toes earlier this season.
They're yet to run the football until now because Peyton Hillis has checked into the game for the first time, and he carries for 2 yards. Ziggy Hood combining with Casey Hampton to bring down Hillis, 6'2", 250 pounds, and there is Cribbs trying to shake it off along the Cleveland sideline. Steelers in front 14-0.
Yeah, with Cribbs on the sidelines and Hillis less than 100%, the onus obviously goes right to number 12, Colt McCoy, and his ability to create plays with his arm.
2 tight ends in this formation with Watson and Royal. Massaquoi, the motion man. And it's Massaquoi, nowhere to go, shooting the gap. James Ferrier read it perfectly. It's a loss of 3. NFL Today update. Let's head to the Big Apple and JB.
Iron Saints hoping to clinch home field and an NFC South title here. Take a look. Drew Brees to the tight end, Jimmy Graham. Graham's 4th touchdown of the last 3 games. 7-3 New Orleans on top of Tampa Bay. Let's take it back to Ian and Dan.
And there is this feeling right now, JB, that it is wide open in the NFC. Atlanta, New Orleans, Chicago, if Green Bay gets in, Philadelphia, all very dangerous. 3rd and 11 now for the Browns. Here comes the rush. McCoy standing in the pocket and fires to the 30-yard line. Benjamin Watson sliding grab for 13 yards. Watson has become McCoy's favorite target. Time for another update. Back with JB in New York.
But Ian, you and Dan know that Atlanta can lock up the South with the win. Take a look at Eric Wings on this punt return. 55 yards, Ian and Dan, to pay dirt. Falcons on top, 14-0, a win. They lock it up. Back to Ian and Dan.
Well, the Panthers have to be so demoralized with the firing of their head coach, John Fox, just yesterday.
Peyton Hillis getting the call, and Hillis is greeted by Lawrence Timmons after he picks up about 2 yards on the play. Down to 4:40 remaining in this first quarter. Focus on the NFC right now. Atlanta, chance to lock up that number 1 seed. Chicago at 11-4. The question is, will they be playing for anything later against Green Bay? You've got the Giants, Tampa Bay still on the outside looking in, and Seattle and St. Louis will play for the division title and the opportunity to host a game next week.
That's the amazing thing. They win the NFC West. They play at home next week.
And they could be under 500 in the process. McCoy steps up, and McCoy has some room. Nice pump by McCoy. The head and shoulder fake gets him to the 40-yard line. It looks like first down yardage.
Yeah, he borrowed some shampoo from Polamalu there because Polamalu on the blitz. And with that little pump fake, he got just enough to pick up the first down. Heads up and shoulders up.
Yeah, at first I didn't know if that was a head and shoulders reference, but that was very impressive. Yeah, Polamalu's got very impressive hair as well. Eric Mangini. The way this team performed last year, final month of the season, may have saved his job a year ago. But Cleveland has struggled down the stretch this year. It's Watson working his way to the perimeter. And Watson tiptoes out of bounds out near midfield. Clark initially whiffed, allowing Watson to gain extra yards. It's a 9-yard pickup through the air.
That's 3 catches now for Watson. Watch as he's on the drag route across the middle. Colt McCoy told us yesterday it's the first time he's ever had a tight end that he could throw to. At University of Texas, they ran a spread offense. He's not only got a tight end, he's got a great tight end in Watson.
Watson causing matchup problems, having by far his best individual season. This is a guy that's won a Super Bowl with the New England Patriots. Hillis through a hole. And Hillis trying to lay out some punishment. as William Gay got him down low. It's a 6-yard pickup. CBSSports.com is streamlining its award-winning fantasy games to create an even better fantasy experience. Go to CBSSports.com/sneak preview to sign up for an alert when fantasy games launch. Browns are on the move. They are in Pittsburgh territory. 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. And Hillis remains in the game in the backfield. Flags come down.
They're going to get Chancey Stuckey for moving early. Stuckey tried to cover it up by going in motion.
Offense number 83. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
And the veteran referee Ron Winter with us here today. Well, the injury, we mentioned it earlier. Take a look at this shot right there to the ribs of Peyton Hillis from Ed Reed. Hillis did return to the game, but he was limited last week. 12 carries, 35 yards. He's closing in on 1,200 yards rushing. Would be the 6th Brown to do that. Play fake. 1st and 15. McCoy works out of trouble, throwing on the move. Well, how did it get there? It's Robisky on the catch. It went through the hands of Peyton Hillis.
Well, McCoy went through the hands of Lawrence Timmons to avoid the sack. Watch 94 come right up the gut here. There's the duck. And now here's the strike that goes right through Hillis's hands to Robisky. Why not? Last game of the year. I think we can put that down as a trick play. The Browns are pretty good at that.
That's just how Brian Dable drew it up, the offensive coordinator. 1st down for Cleveland. Steelers lead it 14-0. A minute and a half to go in this 1st quarter. They handle the rush. McCoy will throw the deep ball, and nobody home. He was looking for Robisky, and 2 defenders back there, Clark and Taylor, for the Steelers.
They go back one play, and I think the sun may have gotten in the eyes of Peyton Hillis. At least that's the excuse I'll give him, because this goes right through his hands. Robisky with great reactions to make the catch in front of Ike Taylor.
And Brian Robisky getting opportunities. He and Colt McCoy have developed some chemistry now in the latter part of the season. And Robisky, we had a chance to sit down with him. He talked about the rapport that him and McCoy have together. And he said McCoy never looked like a 3rd-string quarterback. He was always studying like he was the starter. So when he got the call, it was an easy transition. McCoy moving pocket, and he'll just throw it away out of bounds. Ziggy Hood supplying the heat on McCoy.
And sometimes a play like that will just give a quarterback a lot of confidence that he made the right decision. But the pressure has been on Colt McCoy throughout this ballgame so far. Of course, this unfortunate interception and tipped ball. That's 3 now the Steelers have gotten off of McCoy. The hit by Gay there. Now the sack by Ziggy Hood. But this last drive with Peyton Hillis back in the game, it appears that the Browns have a little bit of momentum. And boy, do they need it. They need to get on the scoreboard in a hurry.
3rd and 10 now for the Browns. Play clock is winding down. A minute 20 to go, 1st quarter. They get the play off. McCoy. He hits Massaquoi, breaking a tackle. And Massaquoi finally brought down at the 5. James Harrison on the chase down.
I tell you, McCoy is fearless when he throws the ball. This went right through the heart of the Steeler defense on this slant route here. Look at James Harrison right there. Looked like Harrison had a shot at it. Taylor misses the tackle. Great effort by Harrison to make the tackle after 31 yards. But Harrison, I think, knew he may have been able to either get a hand on that ball or at least distract Massaquoi.
Massaquoi, good route runner, and the yards after catch for Massaquoi, setting up Cleveland 1st and goal from the 5. 12th play of the drive on the shovel for Hillis. And Hillis able to pick his way for a 3-yard gain up the gut. Casey Hampton there defensively for the Steelers.
He's going to roll out to his right, then just pitch the ball inside. That'll go down as a forward pass and a completion. And it's another reception for Peyton Hillis, their 2nd leading receiver coming into the game. McCoy now 8 of 13 for 101 yards in that 1st quarter.
And to the 1st quarter here in Cleveland, the Steelers with a 14-0 lead over the Browns. We'll come back to Cleveland Browns Stadium after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Hi, Eagle, Dan Fouts, the rest of our CBS crew. Happy New Year, everybody. We are in Cleveland, where the Steelers lead the Browns 14-0. A Pittsburgh victory. They've got the #2 seed in the AFC, and they've got a bye week to open things up in the playoffs. Quick start by the Steelers. The Browns trying to answer now. And a long drive from Cleveland. First play, second quarter. Second and goal. Polamalu tried to time it. McCoy out of the pocket. On the move, McCoy throws back in the end zone. It's broken up. He was trying to hit Robert Royal with Larry Foote, the linebacker, drawing the assignment against the tight end.
How does Polamalu time this so perfectly? That's unbelievable. Right on the snap, and then the coverage in the back of the end zone. Foote coming over just in time to knock it away from Royal. It's Superman. It's wearing number 43 today.
Third and goal. 14th play of the drive. McCoy. Bootleg. On the roll, McCoy. Throwing. Incomplete. Robert Royal was the target. It looked like McCoy might have had the angle to run it in for the touchdown.
Yeah, I don't think so, Ian. I hate to disagree with you, but this was a great choice and an unfortunate error by Royal, as he's going to find a way to get open right here as he pushes off slightly. Ball thrown a little bit high, but not that high. There you see Foote has cut off that angle to the pylon, and the ball through the back of the end zone. But why don't you go for it on fourth down? That's what these fans want to see now. It's the last game of the year. You're playing the Steelers. You're going to kick a field goal? Come on.
20-yard attempt now for Phil Dawson. And this could be Dawson's final game in a Cleveland Browns uniform. Cleveland is on the board, but certainly the fans wanted more. It's 14-3, Pittsburgh. 15-play, 80-yard drive, officially a 19-yard field goal for Phil Dawson. It took 7 minutes and 14 seconds for the Browns. McCoy, sharp on that drive, 5 of 9, 71 yards. Looked like he had a touchdown to Royal, who could not secure it. And Cleveland down 14-3. Eric Mangini making the decision to go for the short field goal and not go for it on 4th and goal inside the 5. Dawson kicks it off. Antonio Brown and Isaac Redman are deep. And this will be Brown from the goal line. Antonio Brown up the middle. Now angles it to the outside, and he veers out of bounds across the 25. Abram Elam there to chase him down. It's a 26-yard return. Ring in the new year with a new episode of TV's #1 new drama, Hawaii Five-0, on an all-new Monday right here on CBS.
The problem I have with going for a field goal in the last game of the season, and you finally get your offense rolling, the quarterback's hot, making good decisions, the offensive line is working hard, Hillis is in the game. Just so demoralizing to come away after that long drive with only 3 points, especially when you're down now by 11.
Pittsburgh Steelers have been dominant in second quarters this season, outscoring their opponents by 92 points coming into this game, the largest differential in the NFL. Mendenhall, the spin move to create some yardage. And that's Rashard Mendenhall making something out of nothing, turning it the other way for a 4-yard pickup. Roth and Elam combined to bring him down. Well, across the bottom of the screen on our CBS game tracks, we'll keep you up to date on the Bengals-Ravens game here today. Important in regards to Pittsburgh and the playoff positioning. The Ravens leading the Bengals 3-0. And we'll keep you updated throughout the day. A Steelers victory here or a Ravens loss, and Pittsburgh will have the #2 seed in the AFC behind New England. 2nd and 6. 4 losses this season for the Steelers. They've come against Baltimore, New Orleans, New England, and the Jets. Roethlisberger. Oh, so much time, and now Roethlisberger will create with his leg. He'll get the first down and then some, as he slides to the 39-yard line for Pittsburgh, and they'll move the chains for the Steelers, a 9-yard run. New England has clinched the #1 seed. Pittsburgh in line for the #2 seed. Kansas City will have the #3 seed, and the question will be Indianapolis and Jacksonville as to who is the #4 seed, with Baltimore and the Jets potentially in those wild card positions. Mike Tomlin, his team played on Thursday night 10 days ago, so he said his guys got a legitimate Christmas and time off for the players and their family and the coaching staff. Play fake. Roethlisberger swings it out for Mendenhall. Look at the room in front of him. Rashard Mendenhall gallops out of bounds in Cleveland territory. And it looked like there might have been some extra yardage there. 24 yards on the catch and run for Mendenhall.
Well, here's Mendenhall in the backfield, the only back in the backfield, and he's just going to sneak out into the flat here. And because of the time to throw that Roethlisberger has, the coverage is totally dropped. Man-to-man coverage down the field, and somebody forgot number 34.
And the longest reception of the season for Mendenhall. Isaac Redman now in the game, but Welding Moore is inactive with a knee injury. And it's Redman up the middle out of Bowie State. Former practice squad player with the Steelers. Ataba Rubin, who's had a solid season for Cleveland. It's a 4-yard gain as Rubin makes the tackle.
And if Roethlisberger continues to get this type of pass protection that we've seen so far, the Browns secondary could be in real trouble. Nobody can create more time. In fact, he says it creates a new dimension in pass defense when he does get out of the pocket and gives the speedy wide receivers, especially Wallace, a chance to work.
Steelers come in 15th in the NFL in total offense, just over 340 yards per game. They are up to 169 now. And it's Emmanuel Sanders. They've got some rookies at the wide receiver position that they are very high on. Sanders out of SMU, Antonio Brown, a rookie out of Central Michigan. That's a 16-yard pass play.
And that's just a veteran play by the quarterback, giving a signal out to Sanders. They saw that Joe Hayden, the rookie corner for the Browns, was lined up deep and to the outside, so it was just a one-step route for Sanders. His 28th catch of the year gets him 16 yards.
He had 98 catches last year at SMU, a third-round draft pick. First down, just short of the 15-yard line on a handoff for Redman. And Isaac Redman will be ridden down. Forward progress will give him 3. David Bowen's first man there, and then joined by a number of Browns defensively to bring down Redman. So it'll be 2nd and 7 now for the Steelers.
Yeah, and you go back to the decision to kick the field goal now, and look how bad that decision looks right now as the Brown defense having no success at all slowing down the Steeler offense.
And this Steeler team, Dan, is 6-1 on the road. The last time they were 7-1, you have to go back to 2004.
And when you average 11 yards a play, you're pretty good.
2nd and 7. Roethlisberger, deep drop. Roethlisberger throwing. Incomplete. Heath Miller was the intended receiver. Matt Roth in coverage, the linebacker, former Miami Dolphin.
This is a tough adjustment for Heath Miller, but a wise throw because Roth has good position on the tight end. It just appeared that Miller could not quite gather himself to rotate back, spin back, and make that catch, but good coverage by Roth.
Steelers are 3 of 3 on third down so far. This is a 3rd and 7 now for Pittsburgh. 8th play of the drive. Miller is parallel to Roethlisberger working out of the gun on a 4-receiver set. Movement. Roethlisberger pointing in Cleveland's direction as Rodgers may have jumped.
He may have been drawn off sides by the center, Marquise Pouncey.
Coach for defense.
May not have been.
5-yard penalty, and then 3rd down.
And it is Rodgers who's been dealing with ankle and hip injuries, a 3-time Pro Bowler. Broke his leg last season, and he's just been limited now in his 10th year in the NFL.
There's Pouncey and Rodgers. Let's see what Pouncey does to... Nope, that's definitely encroachment. Well within the right of Pouncey to get back into his stance after looking between his legs at his quarterback.
So now a 3rd and 2. Steelers are inside the Cleveland 10. From the gun, handoff. Like he was shot out of a cannon. Isaac Redmond carries for 5. It'll be 1st and goal inside the 5 for Pittsburgh as we hit the 10-minute mark of this second quarter.
It shows you how big that encroachment penalty was on Sean Rogers. Instead of a 3rd and medium, it was 3rd and short. The Steelers easily picked up that first down, but at what cost as the Steelers slow to get up.
So the Steelers have used over 5 minutes of clock here on this drive. They lead 14-3. Pittsburgh with a chance to add to it right now. Mendenhall in the backfield. 1st and goal for the Steelers from the 3. Trying to take it to the edge. Mendenhall turns it upfield and driven towards the sideline. Mike Adams helping to lead that charge for the Cleveland Browns defense.
That was mano a mano. Adams and Mendenhall on the outside. Mendenhall, who goes about 225, squares up right here, as does Adams. You got to give that fine play to Mike Adams, keeping Mendenhall out of the end zone.
Mendenhall, 4th Steeler to go over 1,000 yards in back-to-back seasons. Franco Harris, Jerome Bettis, Willie Parker, the other 3. This is the 10th play of the drive. 2nd and goal for Pittsburgh. Mendenhall running into a crowd up the middle. They're trying to push the pile. And he'll come up short at the 1. Give him a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd and goal coming up for the Steelers.
And the Steelers will not go for the field goal here. They bring in the big guys as this looks like a rugby pile as Mendenhall gets to this point, and now the big guys start shoving.
So 3rd and goal now for Pittsburgh. Doug Legursky, we saw him earlier, plowing ahead and creating a hole for Mendenhall. 11th play of the drive. 3rd and goal. They'll try it again. Mendenhall leaning forward for the touchdown. The Pittsburgh Steelers methodical. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns for the Steelers.
Pretty obvious that the Steelers were going to run to the right side behind Ramon Foster, Flozell Adams, all this power here. Number 85, David Johnson, goes about 260. Talked about Legursky. Mendenhall gets in going backwards.
So tack on another touchdown for Rashard Mendenhall. That's his 13th rushing touchdown of the season. 11 plays, 74 yards. Extra point for Sweezum. It's 21-3 Pittsburgh. The Steelers all over the Browns first half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Acura. The most innovative thinking you'll find in an Acura. Bing. Stop searching, start deciding with Bing, the decision engine from Microsoft. And by Castrol GTX High Mileage, because the longer your engine lasts, the more it pays you back.
And rejoining you here in northeastern Ohio, Mike Holmgren, team president for the Cleveland Browns. San Francisco guy, Dan.
Product of Lincoln High School in San Francisco. Played college ball at the University of Southern California. Was an outstanding quarterback that didn't quite break into that Trojan lineup. Turned out to be a pretty good coach, too.
Green Bay Packers head man from 92 to 98, and the Seattle Seahawks head coach from 99 to 2008. Off the kickoff, Mike Bell scoops it up, and Bell is quickly brought down at the 22-yard line. Keenan Lewis getting downfield for Pittsburgh. Mendenhall, a pair of touchdowns. The Steelers up 21-3 on Cleveland. Steelers 21, the Browns 3 with 7:46 to go in the second quarter. Colt McCoy, in our sit-down with him yesterday, admitted, hey, I was moping around on Monday and Tuesday after the loss to Baltimore. Then on Wednesday, Mike Holmgren took me aside and said, hey, Get over it. Move on. Turn the page. Holmgren has worked with so many quarterbacks through the years as Peyton Hillis gets the carry for 3 yards.
Well, that's great advice, because as the leader of the team, the natural leader at quarterback position, the team is looking for you for how you are acting, especially after a loss. And you can get over it and show that you're focused on the next opponent, and especially when your next opponent is a team like your rival, the Steelers. Good advice from Mike Holmgren.
Now McCoy is on the sidelines, and Joshua Cribbs, who appears to be okay after the ankle injury, flagged down. Cribbs running, and Cribbs staying on his feet, but brought down at the 25 by Ziggy Hood. No gain on the play, but a penalty marker as mentioned.
Yeah, Massaquoi was moving forward in his motion, and he'll be called for illegal motion on that Wildcat play. Positive sign for Cleveland is that Cribbs is back in the lineup.
Penalties so far, 2 against Cleveland, none against Pittsburgh. And Ron Winter will deliver the news.
Illegal motion. Offense. Wide receivers going back toward the line of scrimmage at the snap. Penalties decline. That's the 3rd down.
Thought the fantasy season was over? It's not. Play NFL.com Playoff Challenge today. You could win a trip to Super Bowl 46 in Indianapolis. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy or search NFL Playoff Challenge. 3rd and 7 now. Steelers turn down the penalty, and McCoy will work out of the gun. McCoy, high throw, and he threw it right to Ryan Clark of the Steelers. 2nd interception for Pittsburgh, and Clark is brought down as he went airborne. Benjamin Watson with the tackle. 21-yard return off the INT.
Check it out if Clark did get his hands under this as he dives for this ball overthrown by McCoy. And that ball is secure, that right hand underneath it, so that will stand, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns don't challenge it. They have nothing to lose by not challenging that. But Clark picks up that interception. That's the 2nd one thrown by McCoy. He's trying to get the ball to Massaquoi on the post route, and the ball just sailed over the top, and there's the challenge flag from Eric Mangini.
So right now it's the 2nd interception of the season for the 9-year veteran Ryan Clark. Another look at it.
It certainly seemed like his right hand was underneath the ball, as Ron Winter tells us what we already know.
They'll take a look at it. Coaches challenge. Pittsburgh up on Cleveland.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. And by the One, the Accord from Honda.
Take one more look at it. Ryan Clark wearing white gloves, and that really aids this replay. You can see his right arm underneath the ball, and his left hand has the ball in his as well.
The ruling on the field stand. The pass is intercepted. Cleveland is charged with a 2nd team timeout.
So the Browns lose a timeout on the challenge by Mangini. Just 1 timeout remaining. Pittsburgh in control right now, 21-3 over Cleveland with 6:28 to go in this first half.
Don't be surprised if Roethlisberger goes for the touchdown right away, as he did after the first interception of the game.
1st and 10 at the 24 of Cleveland. Redmond in the backfield. Take the handoff. Roethlisberger throws. It's complete to Hines Ward. 1st down, Pittsburgh. It'll be 1st and goal from the 8 on a 17-yard pass and catch. Roethlisberger to Ward.
Well, working on the rookie, Joe Hayden, number 23. Will Allen is the safety on the inside, but this is a Roethlisberger special there, a fastball. Late hit coming in there by Eric Barton that Hines Ward didn't like very much.
Roethlisberger, 6 of 9, 162 yards and a touchdown. 1st and goal for Pittsburgh. Mendenhall now in the backfield. Handoff. Mendenhall through the middle. Keeps the legs churning. And forward progress will get him to the 4. Mike Adams with the hit on Mendenhall. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line.
Well, the Steelers have been unstoppable in this first half. Taking advantage of that first interception, the very first play, the 56-yard bomb to Mike Wallace. And then a couple of nice, long, time-consuming drives. It's all going Steeler way. They look fresh, don't they?
They sure do. 10 days off after that Thursday night win, 27-3 over Carolina. 2nd and goal. Roethlisberger throws, touchdown. Miller ducks in, and Pittsburgh is pouring it on. The Steelers are dominating the Cleveland Browns here in Week 17 with a number 2 seed on the line for Pittsburgh.
Second touchdown catch of the year for number 83. Out of the backfield, and he knows where that pylon is. He turns quickly. Big Ben right on target again. Roethlisberger 7 of 10 for 165 and a pair of touchdowns. Maybe time for Big Ben to find a seat on the bench.
Do you think Mike Tomlin should think about putting Byron Leftwich into the game?
I think he should think about taking a lot of guys out, especially guys that are nicked up a little bit, namely Troy Polamalu.
Off the turnover, they turned it into 7 points again. 28-3, the Steelers leading the Cleveland Browns back here in the broadcast booth. Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts. The route is on right now for Pittsburgh. A win gets them the number 2 seed. And really, you look at the math, break it down. 1 game in 23 days, Dan, if they get this victory, considering that they played Thursday night. They'll have another week off. It's setting up pretty nicely for Pittsburgh.
Well, they look fresh. They look ready for the playoffs. They're very focused. And now they'll be rested going into the playoffs. And this is a veteran team that obviously could use that rest, as all teams can. When you think about their playmakers in Polamalu on defense, and he's playing hurt today, makes the interception that first drive of the game for Cleveland. Be very smart for the Steelers to start thinking about substituting more freely here as the game goes on.
Sweezum kicks it off. It's going to roll towards Ventrone. And Ventrone is brought down at the 34-yard line by Arnez Battle on special teams. So Polamalu will head out there for Pittsburgh. We will monitor that throughout the rest of the day here with the Steelers in front 28-3 over the Browns.
And you know, if you're a Baltimore fan, and the Ravens are probably aware of this score as well, Ian, they got to be thinking about, hey, we're playing next week. We may want to pull some guys out of our game that are a little bit nicked up and rest some of our veterans, because they've got to go on the road
potentially
for their first playoff game.
Indianapolis, if things go the way that the Colts are hoping later today, it would be Baltimore at Indy and the Jets at Kansas City. On a pitch, it's Mike Bell. And Bell's got a running lane. Polamalu hits him down low. Good blocks on that left side. Joe Thomas and Eric Steinbach. It's an 11-yard gain and a first down for Bell and the Browns.
And Polamalu playing with a sore Achilles, did not practice this week until Friday, but you certainly can't tell, especially with that type of effort, bringing down Bell after the best running play for the Browns this afternoon.
And Polamalu voted by his teammates as the MVP of the Steelers this season.
All the people back in 10 Mile, Oregon enjoying this one today, watching their native son.
And if you're scoring at home, that's your second Oregon plug of the broadcast. Handoff, it's Bell working his way into Pittsburgh territory.
Just reading the facts, my friend.
That's right. You know what else is a fact coming up? The Sprint halftime report. James Brown and the rest of the crew, the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Peyton Hillis, we're in the jacket for this series, and Mike Bell getting an opportunity now. Last week, Bell had 27 yards rushing, 48 yards receiving. His first career start came against Pittsburgh back in November of 2006 as a member of the Broncos. And Bell takes a tough hit from Lawrence Timmons. He's really found a role on this Pittsburgh defense. and is much more comfortable now in his second full year as a starter out of Florida State, and now working off of instinct. We had a chance to sit down and chat with him yesterday.
And he talked about the fine he received in the preseason of $5,000 for a helmet-to-helmet hit. I asked him, has that changed the way you play? He said, yeah, it has. I go lower now on tackles. I do not want to be fined.
That was the big part of what he was saying. I do not want to be fined again. I don't take that lightly. On a 3rd and 3, McCoy pumping, and McCoy hit as he throws, intercepted for the 3rd time. Anthony Madison. McCoy slow to get up. And back-to-back weeks, McCoy has been picked off 3 times, and we still have 2:33 to play in this first half, as McCoy took a shot from James Harrison.
And he had a lot of time to throw this pass. It was 3rd and 3. Looked like Watson may have been open in the flat quickly. But I'm not sure what he sees here as he gets hit from behind and driven to the ground. That's a legal clean hit by James Harrison as well. And a fine catch, stumbling and going backwards, is Madison.
Madison, his first interception. He's been a special team standout for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now in his 5th year out of Alabama. And you see the interceptions are piling up now for the rookie Colt McCoy, and he's in some pain.
Well, he is. And remember, at the University of Texas last year, he did injure his shoulder. He's standing as if that shoulder is sore right now.
In the national championship game, in fact. First down, Isaac Redman to the game. Roethlisberger stays in. Roethlisberger guns to Miller. And Heath Miller, even in Cleveland, is hearing some chants of Heath after he picks up 12 yards and a first down.
Well, a number of Steeler fans are here as we go back to take a look at the hit on Colt McCoy by James Harrison. The timing is perfect by Harrison as McCoy still has the ball in his hand when Harrison hits him in the back and drives him to the ground.
Well, we asked McCoy about the first meeting with Pittsburgh, his first career start. He said, look, I just wanted the guys to see that I was confident, let them know that I could play at a high level and I was capable of leading the team. He played well in that game. A Pittsburgh victory. Dump off. It's Redman. And Isaac Redman able to stay on his feet. And he's out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Hit by T.J. Ward. We've hit the 2-minute warning. Second quarter. Pittsburgh 28, Cleveland 3. Just moments ago, Colt McCoy chatting with Brian Dable, the offensive coordinator, and McCoy reacting. Rookie quarterback. You've been there, Dan, starting as a rookie in the NFL.
Yeah, now you can go out and fix that helmet and my headset.
That's right. They got so excited that the headset fell off. On a toss to the outside, Antonio Brown working his way to the sideline and forced out of bounds. Sabby Piscatelli able to get over there defensively. Marquise Pouncey getting outside.
Well, Roethlisberger talked about the young receivers. Emmanuel Sanders, we've seen him earlier today. How about the speed now by another rookie, Antonio Brown, getting down the sideline. So there's a lot of weapons now for Roethlisberger. 26 yards on that one.
Roethlisberger 10 of 13, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns for Roethlisberger, 2 rushing touchdowns for Mendenhall. Roethlisberger throwing over the middle, and it's dropped. T.J. Ward over there defensively, and Heath Miller the target for Big Ben.
And that is the best defensive play for the Browns this afternoon. Ball was out in front. Miller reached for it, and as he did, Ward just swatted it right out of his hands. Heads up by the rook.
How about that? The Browns, the only team in the NFL yet to allow 30-plus points in the game. They've allowed 28 in this first half with 1:46 to play. 4 possessions for Pittsburgh, 4 touchdowns. Second and 10. Rush is coming. Roethlisberger steps up, slings it, and it's complete to Hines Ward, short of a first down. Clock is moving, 1:36, and it stops there as Mike Adams put the hit on Ben Roethlisberger, a 9-yard gain.
Well, Adams comes in. He's a 200-pounder trying to bring down Big Ben. Roethlisberger said, "What's that, a mosquito?"
Timeout, Pittsburgh. Now that's the helmet that McCoy tossed down in frustration. And McCoy will be using a new helmet if the Browns get back on the field in this half, or in the second half when McCoy leaves the offense. It's 3rd and 2 now for Pittsburgh with 1:38 to go. Play fake. Roethlisberger throws it up for grabs. Incomplete. Miller in the general vicinity. And it's 4th down now for Pittsburgh as David Bowens and Mike Adams applied the pressure on Roethlisberger.
That's Rob Ryan dialing up a really creative blitz on back-to-back plays. One, Roethlisberger got away with throwing it to Hines Ward. That time he just dumped it in the direction of Heath Miller.
Sean Sweezemon for a 41-yard field goal attempt. Steelers made the decision to let Jeff Reed go, their longtime kicker, and Sweezem has come in and has done a nice job. 12 of 13 on field goal attempts. And he knocks it through from 41 yards away to extend the Pittsburgh lead. It's 31-3. Steelers. 1:30 to go in this first half. Coming up, Sprint halftime report. James Brown and company, the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Now this Pittsburgh team bounced back from the Week 15 loss to the Jets. They lost that one 22-17, but then outgained Carolina 408 yards to 119 in a convincing win over the Panthers, and it's carried over here into Week 17 as well in Cleveland.
You talked about the 4 possessions and 4 touchdowns. Well, I guess you got to give Cleveland some credit for holding them to just a field goal on their 5th possession. But I just look down and see this a very demoralized and flat team wearing orange helmets and brown jerseys right now. The Steelers just appear to be priming themselves for the playoffs.
Since the AFC North was founded in 2002, Pittsburgh 15-2 against the Browns. Sweezem kicks off. And again, it'll be a bounce. Fielded by Ventrone and then thrown down as he crossed the 35. 7-yard return. Pittsburgh Steelers knew the situation coming into today. They could be the number 2 seed or go down to the number 6 seed depending on how things transpired over the course of the afternoon. But Pittsburgh is in control with a 31-3 lead, tied with Baltimore. Ravens are playing Cincinnati. Pittsburgh owns the tiebreaker. And the Steelers trying to finish off the season with a 5-1 record within the AFC North. Mike Tomlin said, if I would have told these guys 6 months ago that a trip to Cleveland would provide a potential division title and the number 2 seed, they would have been excited. So the idea that it came down to Week 17, Steelers were fully aware what was on the line here, and they played like it. Peyton Hillis cut down low, and some pushing and shoving after the play.
And that's going to be typical in any type of rivalry game, especially when it's so one-sided as this one's becoming. It's even more shoving going on as the officials are stepping in the middle of it.
Massaquoi and Ryan Clark exchanging some words. 2nd and 8 now. Under a minute to go, and Cleveland is trying to hurry up with its offense. Browns in a deep hole, 31-3. Rush coming. McCoy gets rid of it. Benjamin Watson. It's near first down yardage, about a yard shy as Lawrence Timmons comes up with a tackle.
Only one timeout to work with because of a blown challenge by Mangini on the interception earlier.
There's McCoy throwing, and it's Watson. Ruled incomplete. The ball must have hit the ground as he was following through with the catch.
That combination's worked pretty good though this afternoon for the Browns. McCoy to Watson. Watson has 4 catches for 41 yards. But this play by Timmons right here causes this ball to come out of the possession of Watson and not complete the catch. Good call.
They're going to go for it on 4th down, and they'll run for it. Colt McCoy, quarterback keeper. New set of downs for Cleveland, but only 21 seconds remaining in this first half. And a timeout called. 21 seconds to play, second quarter. This Cleveland team 1-4 in the AFC North. Only victory was October the 3rd over Cincinnati. Wednesday on Showtime. JB, Chris Collinsworth, Warren Sapp, Phil Simms come your way. Cable's longest running show. The multi-award winning Inside the NFL every Wednesday on Showtime.
Is this where you're supposed to ask me what would I do if I were the Browns?
No, I'm not going to ask that, Dan. What would you do, though, if you were the Browns?
I'd haul off and heave it 3 times in a row and hope that one of our guys catches it.
Yeah, but you didn't play linebacker in the NFL. You played quarterback. You would have done that on every play. 29 years ago today, Dan. Here's McCoy. Looking to throw. McCoy will loft one out of bounds. 29 years ago today. Do you know what it was?
I was 30 years old. I know that.
You were 30 years old, and you played in maybe the greatest game in NFL history. The San Diego Chargers and the Miami Dolphins. Kellen Winslow and you. That combination leading to a Rolf Benerschke field goal and a victory down in South Florida to advance to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, a very, very warm memory for me, because the next week we came to Southern Ohio and it was a bitterly cold memory playing the Bengals.
How'd that one go?
Not well.
All right, we'll move on. On second down, McCoy throwing out of bounds. 11 seconds left. Massaquoi didn't look like he and McCoy were on the same page there.
Were you even born 29 years ago?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was a young man, Dan. Young man. I remember where I was, though, watching that game. And
3rd grade?
It's somewhere around there. I actually skipped 3rd grade, believe it or not. It's funny you would bring up that particular grade. 11 seconds left in this first half. Pittsburgh with a 31-3 lead, and the Steelers are hoping to create some postseason memories of their own as we turn the calendar into 2011. Shotgun formation for McCoy. Look out, McCoy stepping forward. Larry Foote supplying that initial pressure, and that's going to do it for the first half. Lamar Woodley busting through for the sack. Big smile for Big Ben. The Steelers lead it 31-3. We'll come back. Sprint halftime report. You're watching the NFL on CBS. That would be
5 possessions for the Steelers, 4 touchdowns and a field goal. That will make any punter happy and rested.
Yes, 0 punts for Kapanos. And now Dawson will kick it off with Antonio Brown deep. He's just trying to stay warm. Kapanos along the Pittsburgh sideline. Phil Dawson turns 36 later this month, a free agent after the season, and the career leader in field goals in Browns history. This one will sit on the ground and scooped up by Brown at the 14. He crosses the 20-yard line, and Nick Sorensen making the play on special teams. Touchdown, 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 and a field goal. The first half possessions for Pittsburgh.
And Roethlisberger, 11 of 16. Those 11 completions spread out to 7 different receivers. And very little pressure on Roethlisberger, but sometimes that's a good strategy against him. You don't want to pressure him too much. When he gets out of the pocket, he extends the plays better than anybody in the NFL.
On first down from the Steeler 23-yard line. Mendenhall in the backfield, a 31-3 Pittsburgh advantage. Just underway in the third quarter. Play fake, Roethlisberger throws to Miller. And Heath Miller has got a first down to the 45-yard line. Great chemistry between those two. Miller, who went to the Pro Bowl last year, and that pass play covers 23 yards.
There he is coming right off the line of scrimmage. A little play action really fooled the linebackers. They come up to the line of scrimmage. Miller sneaks in right behind him, and Roethlisberger right on target.
Ben Roethlisberger grew up in Findlay, Ohio, but he wasn't a Browns fan or a Bengals fan. He grew up a 49ers fan, a huge Joe Montana fan. So when he got to Pittsburgh, everybody asked him, you've got to be either Browns or Bengals. He said neither. So he didn't offend anybody.
Well, something about that western Pennsylvania area where they just seem to grow the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Mendenhall, a loss of 2 on the play. Chris Gokong with the hit. Quarterback comparison in that first half. Roethlisberger was outstanding. And the carryover from last week to this week, 2 of the best defenses in the NFL, Baltimore and Colt McCoy fell victim to the Ravens, and Ed Reed in particular, one of the best defenses in the NFL, Pittsburgh. And basically the same thing has happened here this afternoon on a 2nd and 12. Shotgun formation. Roethlisberger, and releasing is Miller. And Miller continues to keep the legs moving and forces himself into Cleveland territory. Abram Elam backpedaling off of contact. It's a 16-yard gain for the tight end.
I think Roethlisberger liked the catch, but this is what he really liked. Taking on Abram Elam and pushing Ward all the way back, good 10 yards after the catch.
Keith Miller, big target, 6'5", 256 pounds. He was a high school quarterback. And as you've seen throughout the day, terrific hands for Miller. 4 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. Mendenhall. Little stop and go for Mendenhall on the stutter step. And he brings it across the 35-yard line. Good blocking by Foster and Pouncey for a 6-yard gain. Well, this is what was at stake for Pittsburgh entering action today. Number 2 seed with a win or a Baltimore loss. Ravens playing the Bengals. They would drop down to number 5 with a loss and a Baltimore win and a Jets loss to Buffalo. And the number 6, okay, I'm not even going to go through it. That's a good point.
Check the scoreboard, pal.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Play-by-play guy just chatting on and on.
That's why I got the crayon.
2nd and 4. And flag comes down. Thrown down at the 35-yard line of Cleveland.
Yeah, and sometimes after a 10-day layoff, as the Steelers have had, you get penalties. Well, this is just their first one.
5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Well, we know Mike Tomlin is a competitor, and obviously Tomlin has a timetable in his own mind as to how long he wants to stick with his guys. But I got to tell you, even in that Thursday night game, there was a feeling that he went deep into the game and Roethlisberger didn't need to be in there against Carolina, but Roethlisberger continued. And here we are now, early stages, 3rd quarter, and Roethlisberger still in there for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and he tweaked his nose against Carolina. Caused it to bleed a little bit, so I'd get him out.
2nd and 9, quick hitter, Antonio Brown. First down for Pittsburgh at the 26-yard line. 14-yard gain.
Well, let's go back a couple weeks when Haloti Ngata with the left hand gets inside the face mask and right to the nose of Big Ben. And as you talked about 10 days ago against Carolina, this hit here caused the nose to bleed one more time. He told us yesterday, not sure that he'll see the doctor at the end of the season to get it straightened out. He can get plenty of air through it. That's all he cares about.
You had it done to you, no?
Absolutely, and all I cared about was getting air through it too, because they told me that they'd have to re-break it to set it and make it look better. Well, that's not part of the factor there.
Yeah. Robinson getting into it. Ramon Foster. Now on the outside, it was Jonathan Scott. And they're able to break it up. We saw this late stages of the 2nd quarter. Yeah, it's Scott and Robinson. Pouncey came in trying to get Scott out of there. Jonathan Scott in his 5th year from Texas, a Dallas native, getting the start at left tackle for Max Starks, who was placed on IR. 2nd and 9. Shotgun. Roethlisberger. Sideline throw. Incomplete as Sanders reacts, unable to haul it in with Joe Hayden over there defensively. Let's go to New York at an NFL Today update from James Brown.
Ian and Dan, safe to say New England's going into the postseason on a roll. Tom Brady still in the game, hooking up here with tight end Algie Crumpler. 31-0 New England, 8th straight game with at least 30 points scored. And oh, by the way, for you Pittsburgh fans, Baltimore on top by 2 field goals over Cincy. Ian Eagle and Dan Fouts.
You know, the amazing part, too, JB, only 2 teams have beaten the Patriots this season. The Cleveland Browns, one of them. The Jets, the other. Cleveland with victories over New England and New Orleans. Roethlisberger out of the pocket. And Roethlisberger short of the 15-yard line. And Roethlisberger scrambling with Marcus Bernard there defensively. And they're going to measure this one.
Yeah, Roethlisberger wanted the Steelers to get right to the line of scrimmage. Was going to probably call a quarterback sneak to pick up the first down, but he got so close on that last play that they're going to bring the chains out. But seeing him run just makes me think all the more we should be seeing him sitting.
You know, we asked him about running and the plays that he's made with his legs this year. He said, look, I'm not Michael Vick. I know that, but I also know that I'm capable getting out of the pocket and creating something by extending the play, whether it is through the air or sensing that I've got some room to work with in front of me with a run.
And he's just as dangerous as Vick from a different standpoint because his arm is strong enough to where he can reach any part of the field. He reminds me so much of John Elway, of course, the number 7, but he's about the same size, maybe a little bit bigger than Elway. But Elway could run around, buy time, and then all of a sudden make a throw entirely across the field, about 60 yards down the field, and you're left sitting there watching it as a quarterback on the other team going, that's not fair. How does guy do that? And that's when you watch Roethlisberger extend the play like you talked about, Ian, it just seems unfair at times. He's so big and strong. He's got such a great arm.
He is 11-1 in his career against the Cleveland Browns. 4th and 1 for Pittsburgh. They're going to go for it.
This is only the 5th time all year they've gone for it on 4th down.
Roethlisberger puts the helmet down, and they're going to have enough for the first down. Had to get it inside the 14-yard line, and he did. First down, Pittsburgh. Clock is moving with 9:28 to play in the 3rd quarter. Mike Tomlin became the youngest head coach in NFL history to win a Super Bowl that 2008 season. They were the number 2 seed, and they are going to be the number 2 seed once again. 10th play of the drive. Just about 6 minutes gone by for Pittsburgh to open up the 3rd quarter. Mendenhall to set back. Roethlisberger slings it up for Hines Ward, and creating after the catch. Ward able to extend his body for first down yardage, and TJ Ward, no relation over there defensively. We'll see where they spot the football, and it will be enough. 1st and goal for Pittsburgh at the 5.
And 952 receptions now for Hines Ward. That's just a phenomenal number in just 13 years in the league.
All-time leading receiver in Steelers history. A physical, crafty player. 3rd round pick back in 1998. What a career he's put together for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 1st and goal. Roethlisberger, low throw. And it's Mike Wallace, ruled incomplete. We asked Roethlisberger about Wallace and his improvement in year 2, and he said, yeah, obviously he's more polished in year 2, but he said against Carolina there was a play where Wallace came back for the football, and it might have been the first time all year that he made a major adjustment, and that's what Ben has been looking for to help make Wallace a more well-rounded receiver.
Yeah, and speedsters usually don't come back for the ball. They feel if it's underthrown, it's not their fault because they're so fast, but because you're so fast, the defensive back sometimes will get a jump on you, and you need to come back, and Ben's been trying to get that type of communication with him where he will underthrow, and Wallace has to adjust.
2nd and goal, Mendenhall. Looked like he had a head of steam, but the Browns were ready for it. Chris Gokong combining with Eric Barton. It'll be 3rd and goal for Pittsburgh.
Marquise Pouncey a little slow getting up after that running play. I thought it was interesting talking to Tomlin about Pouncey. He says, you know, I'm not a rookie-friendly type of coach. But as you said, Ian, he is special, and he was special from the very first day. He's got the talent, but he also loves to play the game. That's not always the case with most players.
3rd and goal for Pittsburgh. Randall L. goes in motion. Randall L. looking to throw it. Fires, end zone, touchdown! We've seen a little bit of everything from Pittsburgh. Hines Ward with the reception. And it's Antoine Randall L. adding to the Steelers' lead.
And the Browns' misery. I wonder if the slippage where Antoine Randall L. kind of falls down here after he gets the pitch was part of the play. Puts his left hand down. The former quarterback keeps his eyes down the field and finds a wide open Ward in the corner of the end zone.
Randall L. has thrown 2 passes this year, Dan, both for touchdowns.
You got to renegotiate.
He now has 6 passing touchdowns in his NFL career. Quarterback at Indiana, now in his 9th year in the league. And Pittsburgh just beating up on the Browns in Cleveland. Now, if the Steelers make a change at quarterback here today, why not Antoine Randall L.? 22 of 27 in his career, 323 yards, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, and the Steelers with a 38-3 lead.
And his quarterback instincts, after he regained his balance, he was looking down the field.
That's right. Sweezum kicking off, and Cribbs is going to get an opportunity off the short kick. And brought down after a run back of 4. Well, you make the trip to Pittsburgh, 2 hours from Pittsburgh to Cleveland. You get rewarded with a ball from Hines Ward. Not bad.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And by T. Rowe Price, understanding the connections of today's complex global economy. Invest with confidence.
Back here in Cleveland, Ohio, one of our CBS technicians, Jeremy Schultz, was involved in an accident earlier this week in South Carolina. All of us at CBS want to send along our thoughts and prayers for a swift and full recovery. Pittsburgh Steelers leading the Cleveland Browns. Pittsburgh's 38 points ties its season high 38-13 win against Tampa Bay earlier this season. Colt McCoy after the penalty, illegal block on special teams, so they back it up to the 18-yard line. Joshua Cribbs in the game. And McCoy will work out of the gun. McCoy losing the football. Brett Kiesel knocked it free. And McCoy comes out of the pack with it.
Well, that'll go down as a sack for Kiesel. And just ripped it away from McCoy. Looked like McCoy had it close to his body. McCoy did get the recovery before Timmons could pounce on that ball. Great play by Kiesel.
And Kiesel, a first alternate for the Pro Bowl now in his 9th year in the league, a 7th-round pick. He's really become a dependable pass rusher for this Pittsburgh squad. Quick toss to the perimeter. Massaquoi tried to curl it back upfield. It's a 5-yard gain with Ike Taylor and Larry Foote collaborating to bring him down.
There was some question whether Troy Polamalu was going to be able to even play today. Practiced on Friday, but made an impact early. First interception there. How about the dive disrupting McCoy on that play, and then the fine tackle on Mike Bell on the perimeter. But Polamalu on the sidelines now. But he certainly has made his presence felt as usual.
Well, this Pittsburgh team allowing a league-low 64 yards per game rushing, and that number might actually go down based on what we're seeing here. McCoy throwing. Robisky did not bring it in cleanly. It's incomplete. William Gay with the coverage. Let's go to New York. NFL Today update. JB.
Hey, Ian, Baltimore capitalized off of a Cincy fumble, but on 2nd and goal, it is Ray Rice with a 7-yard TD run for Baltimore, putting them up 13-0. They were hoping the Steelers would slip, but that's not the case. However, Baltimore looking good. Back to Ian Eagle and Dan Fouts.
Well, JB, for the division title, it's not playing out the way that Baltimore would have hoped, but just for momentum heading into the postseason, certainly the Ravens wanted to get a win, feel good about their Week 17, and then hit the road next week.
And they're a solid road team.
Hodges punting. Antonio Brown unable to shed Ventrone on special teams. And he's brought down at the 34-yard line. Colt McCoy, a rookie quarterback. He's going to look back on his first season and he's going to remember some plays like that. Pittsburgh Steelers 38, the Cleveland Browns 3. Ben Roethlisberger's day is done. Steelers can add another bit of history in this rivalry with Cleveland. And Byron Leftwich is in to run the offense for the Steelers. Leftwich avoids the rush. And Leftwich is going to get brought down for the sack. David Bowens will get credit for it as Leftwich absorbs the sack on his first play of the day. A new team takes the field tomorrow morning on CBS. Start your day with Erica Hill, Chris Raggi, Jeff Glor, and Marisol Castro on the early show beginning tomorrow right here on CBS. On a 2nd and 14 now for Pittsburgh. Leftwich in his 8th year in the NFL. Former starter with Jacksonville. Backed up in Atlanta and Tampa Bay. Has found a home with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Shotgun formation. Jonathan Dwyer getting the carry. And the first NFL carry for Dwyer. Rookie out of Georgia Tech. A bruiser at 5'11", 229 pounds. It's a 5-yard gain. And Joe Hayden helping in run support to bring him down.
Yeah, it looks a lot like Rashard Mendenhall and Isaac Redmond. They're all about the same size. All have that same Pittsburgh style.
So here in the third quarter, Mike Tomlin getting the opportunity to rest the starters, making some decisions on personnel to get out of Cleveland healthy and start getting ready for the playoffs. Steelers will have an off week as the number 2 seed and wait to see who their opponent will be. Leftwich throwing, and it's incomplete. Isaac Redmond, the intended receiver. And the Steelers will punt for the first time today, and Marquise Pouncey unable to get up initially.
The second time he's been slow to get up. Will make it to the sidelines, or will he? He gets pulled down onto the ground here. Number 92 is Sean Rogers. And that should be a penalty on Rogers. He had a hold of Pouncey's jersey for a long time. You know, we talked about Kapanos not punting today, but he has had to work a little bit. He's the holder for the
point.
Field goals and all those extra points.
He's done an outstanding job, Dan. Thanks for pointing that out.
Well, I had help pointing it out. Jim Stamos, your spotter, whispered in my ear.
Really?
That little Jim.
Kapanos in for the injured Daniel Sepulveda, who's on IR. Kapanos averaging just over 40 yards per punt. Cribbs brought down, and it was Spaeth getting him right around the ankles. And this is a concern right now. Marquise Pouncey. Odds are you're not going to see him again. We know we're not going to see Polamalu out in the field. Pittsburgh up big.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer. And by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun.
Where are we again?
We're just 2 hours outside of Pittsburgh.
We're in Cleveland, but the Steelers certainly have gotten some hometown flavor here with the fans making the trip. Peyton Hillis met by 4 different Steelers and no gain on the play. Rushing defense. We talked about Pittsburgh's dominance this season, leading the NFL in that category. They came in 64.1 yards allowed per game on the ground. The Baltimore Ravens set the modern record in the Super Bowl era back in 2000 when they won the Super Bowl, 60.6. And the Minnesota Vikings with 61.6 a few years ago.
And you look at the Bears and the Eagles, that's back when the NFL had a 12-game season, so it was easier to keep teams down then.
How was that Eagles defense that year, you going against them?
Well, you know, you always had to be aware of Chuck Bednarik.
Yeah. Massaquoi with the catch. That was the scouting report, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Beware of Bednarik.
Because he's on both sides of the field.
Yeah.
You know, he's center one time, then on defense, he's a middle linebacker. Mr. 60 Minutes, the all-time greats.
Massaquoi with the reception. And looks like Mike Tomlin's going to challenge this. Red flag thrown at the 35-yard line. Even coaches want to stay sharp.
Well, it was a good throw, too. He got it out about 10 yards off the sideline, so he looks fresh, too, throwing that flag.
Down the field, a completed pass.
Ball came out at the end.
And the boos you're hearing are from the Steelers on the sidelines, booing the head coach for the challenge.
Waiting the announcement of Ron Winter on the challenge.
After review, the receiver did not maintain control of the ball throughout the process of completing the catch. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass. It is third down, 23-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 3:13.
Well, the Steelers making all the right plays and the head coach making all the right calls here with this challenge. Massaquoi not holding the ball throughout the entire act of catching this pass. Goes to the ground right there. He's got it. Now it rolls out of his possession. Good call. Good challenge.
So a 3rd and 10 now for the Browns. And McCoy making sure everybody's on the same page. 3 receiver set. Shotgun, McCoy. Out of the pocket. Looking downfield. There's nobody there. Anthony Madison chasing him from behind. It's going to go down as a sack. Yeah. Anthony Madison.
Yeah, unfortunately for McCoy, he rolls out to the right and he has no receivers there except for Mohamed Massaquoi, and Massaquoi was tackled down the field before McCoy could get out of the pocket.
So 4th down now for Cleveland and Reggie Hodges. Formerly with St. Louis, Philadelphia, Tennessee, and the Jets, a 6th-round pick out of Ball State back in 2005. Antonio Brown waiting for it, backpedals to the 35. And Brown will be spun down as he hit the 43-yard line. Jason Trusnick on special teams making the play. A 51-yard punt and a 6-yard return. The biggest event of the new year begins with a single step. Join Paula Abdul for the premiere of Live to Dance. Tuesday, only CBS.
Yeah, that kind of sums up my life. I just live to dance on.
Yeah. I've seen it on the road. It's a spectacle.
There's a good-looking man right there.
2:28 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Steelers take over. Ben Roethlisberger's day is done. 15 of 22, 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leftwich, that was a backwards pass, and Mike Wallace over there, but it's ruled incomplete. So it was actually a forward pass, but Wallace, smart play to make sure that the play had been whistled dead.
Yeah, it was just a bad pass. It looked like Rodgers may have even got a fingernail on that one, but heads up by Wallace to swat it out of bounds. If it had been a backwards pass and he swats it out of bounds, that's a penalty for illegal batting.
So Byron Leftwich under center. Remember, Dennis Dixon was the starting quarterback during the Ben Roethlisberger suspension, but Dixon went down with a knee injury and was placed on IR. Handoff, Jonathan Dwyer, and he's chopped down. Picks up 2 yards on the play.
And the center that Leftwich is under is now Doug Legursky. We saw Pouncey go off last time the Steelers had the ball, so Legursky takes over, but Steelers only dress out 7 offensive linemen. And the Pouncey can't continue. That means they only have 6, obviously.
Legursky, 6'1", 315 pounds in his 2nd year from Marshall. Shoulder injury for Sheldon Brown, the veteran corner for Cleveland. So Coy Francis is in there right now for the Browns. Leftwich has always had a strong arm, a very long wind-up in motion. 15 yards to Antoine Randall and a 1st down.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Leftwich's arm, as you could see with that laser. But he really did wind up and find Randall L. down the field. Pouncey having a seat on the bench. A lot of smiles on the sidelines.
Byron Leftwich, the former number 7 overall pick back in 2003 out of Marshall. Washington, D.C. native. Handoff, it's Dwyer. And the pile gets pushed. The injury on Pouncey is a stinger, and his return is questionable. There's no reason that Pouncey should return to action for Pittsburgh. First rookie center to make the Pro Bowl since 1955. Dick Szymanski, the Baltimore Colts. And Pouncey is the first Steeler rookie to make the Pro Bowl since linebacker Kendrell Bell back in 2001. And Mike Tomlin, who is not one to laud rookies, he couldn't say enough about the play of Pouncey in our meeting. Mike Wallace getting a first down inside the 30-yard line. That's going to be the final play of this third quarter after the 8-yard pickup through the air. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be the number 2 seed in the AFC. They are 1 quarter away from it becoming official. Steelers up big, 38-3 on Cleveland. This is the NFL on CBS. Fourth quarter coming up. The Pittsburgh Steelers looking for their 20th division title since the merger. Back in 1970, they've got the comfortable lead over Cleveland, 38-3 to wrap up the 2010 regular season here in January of 2011. Byron Leftwich in for Ben Roethlisberger, Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts, the rest of our CBS crew. And the Steelers with a 1st and 10 just shy of the 30-yard line. And Leftwich hits Antonio Brown. TJ Ward with the stop, and the flag comes down. Still plenty of time left here, and we have seen some signs of this building between these two teams.
Look like Doug Legursky and Trey Essex for the Steelers. Matt Roth were the participants in this one. We may get an ejection out of it.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 53 defense. Penalized half the distance to the goal. First down.
So it is Matt Roth picking up the penalty.
And here they are right here. Here comes Roth in. And let's see. Yeah, that shot in the back, that's a real cheapie there. Hit a guy when he's not even looking. Come on, man.
Roth, the former 2nd-round pick of the Miami Dolphins in 2005, a tough linebacker from Iowa. Was waived by the Dolphins, and the Browns picked him up last year. He's been a good player for Cleveland. Up the middle, Jonathan Dwyer. And Dwyer brought down inside the 5 as the legs kept churning.
Dwyer getting his first NFL carries here in the second half, and you know he wants to get in that end zone. That was a heck of an effort to keep those legs going like that.
Second half of the doubleheader coming up here on CBS. Tennessee at Indianapolis, Jacksonville at Houston. Still trying to determine who is going to represent the AFC South in the playoffs. 2nd and 2 now for Pittsburgh. They can still get a first down if they can get it across the 1-yard line. Leftwich handoff. It's Dwyer. And Kenyon Coleman got him down low. And the play whistled dead short of the first down marker. Just underway, fourth quarter. The Steelers at 11-4. Eric Mangini and the Cleveland Browns at 5-10. Last year, the Browns ended their season with 4 consecutive wins. A loss here today, and it'll be 4 consecutive losses to end this season. Third and 2. Leftwich is sacked. Sean Rogers getting in on Byron Leftwich.
Yeah, the second sack of the afternoon against Leftwich. Roethlisberger never even touched the ground except when he ran with the ball. A little indecision that time by Leftwich caused that sack.
And Sean Sweezum out for a short field goal attempt of 24 yards. Kapanos will hold it. Greg Warren is the snapper.
And late to the lineup comes Legursky.
He's not accustomed to being in there, and Mike Tomlin's going to be forced to use a timeout. Trying to get things settled down on special teams. Fourth quarter action continues.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Pittsburgh 38, Cleveland 3 with 12:35 to play in this fourth quarter. I don't think he's listening to us. For the Browns fans who have been through a frustrating season to begin with, and this just adds insult to injury to lose to the Steelers in this manner when you had a chance to spoil the playoff plans. What's that exactly?
That's got to be a Steeler fan.
Really? What was the giveaway?
We see the
Sean Sweezum on for the extra point. We've lost Dan Fouts. Dan is out.
Give me that number.
Always sunny here in Cleveland.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint, the Now Network. National Car Rental. Go national. Go like a pro. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
.24-yard field goal for Sweezum. A 10-play, 52-yard drive, and now the Steelers with a 41-3 lead. This has been a whitewash here in Cleveland today. 12:32 to play in the fourth quarter, and Sweezum will kick it off. Joshua Cribbs is deep, standing at his own 6-yard line. They'll bounce it again. Ventrone let it go by, and now Cribbs is going to scoop it up at the 4, and Cribbs slips down out across the 10-yard line. Joshua Cribbs been to the Pro Bowl. It's been frustrating for him. Saturday, starting at 2 Eastern, it's a women's hoops doubleheader. UConn, the streak is over. Lady Huskies beaten by Stanford. They will battle Notre Dame. Then, Big Ten Bash, Ohio State meets Iowa. That's Saturday on CBS. Pittsburgh 41, the Browns 3 with 12:26 to go in the fourth quarter. This Cleveland team started the season 0-3, then won 3 of its next 5 games. They got to 5-7. But they've lost their last 3 heading into this one as Mike Bell gets the call. Ryan Mundy there to bring him down. It's going to go down as a loss of 1 of the play. NFL Today update. Let's head to New York and JB.
Ian and Dan, Kansas City hasn't lost at home this year, but take a look here after Matt Castle picked Jacoby Ford on an end around 1st and goal. He takes it 10 yards for the score. Oakland is on top 24-10. That opens the door. This KC loss, if it holds up for Indy, Indy will move to the number 3 seed, KC down to the 4th. Ian and Dan.
Well, that is huge and changes the potential matchups in the first round of the playoffs with the Jets and Baltimore in the wild card spots. Mike Bell. He's brought down from behind by Larry Foote. Out across the 15-yard line. 5-yard pickup.
But Kansas City still will host the first round playoff game. So we give Pittsburgh the 12-4, I'm sure. Kansas City, of course, with problems today with Oakland. Not the way you want to go into the playoffs.
And then the stories out there that Charlie Weiss could be leaving the Kansas City Chiefs, taking the offensive coordinator job with the University of Florida. How that affects the offense and Matt Castle and Todd Haley remains to be seen with the Kansas City Chiefs. What a bounce back year it's been, though, for the franchise. McCoy gets rid of it. Caught by Bell, and then Bell extending the arm. Let's see where they spot him down, though.
I think he got enough for that first down. Great effort by Mike Bell.
And the officials agree with you. New set of downs. Back to New York, James Brown.
Late in the fourth, Cincy and Baltimore, but take a look here. Jerome Simpson, 10 catches on the day. This is an 11-yarder from Carson Palmer. Cincy finally on the board against Baltimore. Ravens lead at 13-7 that late in the fourth. Back to Ian Eagle and Dan Fouts.
And JB, as we've talked about all day, even if Pittsburgh and Baltimore finish tied atop the AFC North, the Steelers will win the division, owning the tiebreak over the Ravens. Play fake. It's McCoy. Good hands there by Watson as he hauls it in and then forced out of bounds. 10-yard pickup. They're coming fast and furious. Back to JB in the Big Apple.
Tell me about it, Ian. Take a look off of a Drew Brees fumble on 4th and 1. The quarterback, Josh Freeman, the youngster, I'm sure Dan Fouts likes him, to Mike Williams. Tampa Bay on top. Tampa Bay needs a win and losses by the Giants and Packers to get to the postseason. And right now the Falcons are spanking Carolina 31-3. Back to Ian and Dan.
Yeah, JB, we love that. In fact, we're going to make you the third man of our broadcast booth.
Really?
Yeah, we got the beard, the bird, and the brown.
Joshua Cribbs with a face mask called. Penalty markers thrown. Will Allen over there defensively. And Ron Winter will sort it out. 31-yard catch and run by Cribbs.
Personal foul. Grasping the face mask. Defense number 26. 15-yard penalty and a first down.
Yeah, you're right. It was Will Allen, Ian. Finally, Josh Cribbs gets his hands on the ball. Allen with his hands on the face mask and down the sideline. So Josh Cribbs got a lot of fight in him, playing with very unusual injury for most of this season. 4 dislocated toes. It appeared he sprained his ankle in the first half. He is such a talented player. Great ball skills.
And now Cribbs is going to get an opportunity to run the Wildcat. Watson goes in motion. Cribbs looking to throw. Over the middle. And a little too short for Robisky. They had it working in the end zone, and Robisky had a step.
Yeah, and then he lost his step. He lost his footing in the end zone. He couldn't come back to this ball, but Cribbs really never set and could get anything on this ball. You can see there's the slippage by Robisky, or this would have been a touchdown pass. It was in front of Madison. Robisky was open.
We saw Antoine Randall throw for a touchdown for Pittsburgh, a college quarterback. Cribbs, collegiate quarterback at Kent State.
His teammate there, James Harrison.
Yeah, an Akron native. McCoy trying to lead his man. And Robert Royal had another opportunity at a touchdown. It was broken up by Ryan Mundy, who stepped in for Polamalu when he missed the last 2 games.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a thief. Ryan Mundy, ball bounced off the back of his helmet. Royal trying to reach over the top there. But that helmet got in the way. Royal's going to still be thinking about that touchdown he had go right through his hands way back in the first quarter.
We have had a combined 6 players that have thrown a pass here this afternoon. 3rd and 10. Play action. Sit up the screen. Tight end screen for Watson. And Benjamin Watson has enough for the first down. It appears. Nope, they're going to place the football backwards. And on that initial look, he had it. I'm not so sure he does now.
Really a well-designed and executed screen pass to the tight end, because look at the blockers that Watson has out in front. St. Clair is out in front. Womack out in front. You got a pork chop out in front. You got a good play.
It's one of the great nicknames in sports. Floyd Womack, pork chop, in his 10th year for Mississippi State.
And there's that kid down in Jacksonville, pot roast. Well, to get them together.
It's a nice meal. That's hefty.
Oh, I am getting a little hungry here.
And he's going to be short.
Yeah, the eagle eye never fails.
So 4th down now for Cleveland.
And I bet they don't go for the field goal here.
Going to go with you on that one, partner. Early on, they did elect to go for a field goal. That has accounted for their 3 points today when they had 4th and goal from the 3-yard line.
And they were down 14-0. So they kicked the field goal to close the lead to 11. But since that point, the defense unable to stop the Steelers. And the field goal turned out to be more demoralizing than helping the Brown cause.
How about the future of Colt McCoy? Have you seen enough to say guaranteed this kid's going to be a starting quarterback for a long time in the NFL, or there just isn't enough body of work yet to make that kind of statement?
Well, I think that's part of it. I think the other part of it is that the talent around him, the receivers are all young. The tight end, Watson, is very solid. He'll be a good target for him for a long time. But the other guys need to mature along with McCoy.
On 4th and inches, McCoy doing it himself. And the Steelers claim they've stopped him. Remember, they just needed 2 inches at the most. And they'll peel off that pile, and he does have enough. First down.
Yeah, we're a long way from Bronx, but that sounded like a Bronx cheer for the Browns. I'm not sure I'd want McCoy. Remember, he injured his shoulder earlier in the game, and he's not a very big guy, just 215 pounds. There's no guarantee that he's going to pick up the first down without getting a little bit of abuse there from the Steelers.
Play clock winding down. Didn't look like he got the play off. It was going to be a pitch for Mike Bell.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Now McCoy will learn how to handle this type of pressure, but this is what he's been facing all day today. He got knocked down, he got sacked. Of course, the interceptions he threw. Had that ball ripped out of his hands, but these are all the painful lessons any young quarterback learns. And it's been painful mentally and physically today for Colt McCoy.
He told us in the first meeting Pittsburgh was jumping his cadence, and it was something that they really worked on extensively this week. Although it's tough to simulate that. As McCoy dumps it off for Bell, and the Steelers' backup defensive players were prepared for it.
You know, they're backup defensive players, but their coordinator is still Dick LeBeau. And the Browns had just hurt the Steelers with a screen pass to the tight end. That one to Mike Bell, but really diagnosed quickly by the Steeler linebackers. Stevenson, Sylvester among them.
Dick LeBeau was drafted by the Cleveland Browns in 1959. Never played a game for them. Former standout with the Detroit Lions. And LeBeau now a Hall of Famer. And deservedly so.
Yep.
McCoy, plenty of time. He'll throw. End zone, up for grabs. Robert Royal. Incomplete.
I think they're going to say when he came down, he was out of bounds. Made the catch. Where was the ball? The official right on the spot was very emphatic that that was not a touchdown. Here comes the challenge flag out from Eric Mangini.
Well, he was in bounds. He just didn't catch it.
You know, I just wonder, because he does have possession at this point, but as he comes up, see the ball come loose? I think once it comes loose there, I think this is a touchdown all the way because he is in bounds, or maybe his right foot at that point was out of bounds when he finally did corral this ball.
You have that as a clean catch.
At that point, but once he grabs it here, I think his right foot is on the out-of-bounds line.
Of an incomplete pass.
Mangini challenges it, and we'll find out if Cleveland gets its first touchdown of the day.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by New Line Cinema's The Right, in theaters January 28th. And by GMC. It's the GMC holiday event. Get the job done right this season with a GMC Sierra.
The important thing to remember is complete control for Robert Royal. Then the second thing is, was his foot out of bounds? The official signal here is that incomplete, and now that sign means he's out of bounds. So his right foot apparently was out.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The receiver did not have control of the ball when it hit the ground. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass. Please reset the game clock to 6:43. Cleveland has used their second and final challenge. They have no challenges remaining for the duration of the game. It is also their first timeout of the second half.
So Robert Royal is still skeptical over the call.
It's a fine throw by McCoy and a great effort by Royal. Just ran out of room.
On a 3rd and 18 now for Cleveland. Cribbs in the backfield. Shotgun formation for McCoy. 6:43 to play. McCoy unloads. Touchdown! Nope. Brian Robisky thought he had it. And it's ruled incomplete.
Yeah, there's a discussion, a very heated discussion. The Browns could not challenge us. Now they're saying touchdown.
They had no challenges left. And after the meeting, the Browns do get the touchdown on the board. Unless Mike Tomlin wants to challenge it from the Pittsburgh sideline.
There's the catch. Now the official here was saying that Robisky's head hit out of bounds. But once his bottom hits the ground, that's all it takes right there. That's a touchdown. Complete control. And just because his head hits out of bounds, that is irrelevant. Once his butt hits the ground, play is over. Touchdown Browns.
And Mike Tomlin has just called the timeout. Why does he want the timeout? Well, the coaches can take another look at it upstairs. 6:33 to play, and Tomlin gets a little more time to make a decision.
Yeah, but Mike, it's 41-3 or 41-10. Let's get on the bus, go back home. Clearly a touchdown.
On back-to-back plays, Royal on the other side of the end zone, where it's ruled incomplete. He was out of bounds without fully completing the catch. Initially, Robisky is ruled out of bounds, and then after a short meeting.
Now, it's hard to tell what a touchdown pass is this season.
Now, Calvin Johnson, week 1. This one really shocked fans around the NFL against Chicago. That was ruled incomplete. Arian Foster, you and I worked that game week 9 against San Diego. That was ruled incomplete.
And this one was ruled incomplete, but the officials got together and made the right call.
And now Cleveland is going to go for 2. So Mike Tomlin electing not to challenge that call on the field. 6:33 to go. High snap. McCoy circling, floats one upstairs, and a flag down. Massaquoi, the intended receiver. This season is ending ugly, and it's going on longer than it has to for the Cleveland Browns.
I give. Uncle.
Pass interference, offense number 11. Pass interference, defense number 22. By rule, those penalties offset. Replay the try.
Now they'll have a chance on the 2-point conversion and try to get it done a little cleaner.
It was going to be a trick play. Mike Bell stepped in front of the snap. He was going to take it on a running play, and then once that went awry, McCoy had to go back and get the ball, and then rarely do you see pass interference called on opposite sides. But that is the call there.
And McCoy will head to the sideline for this 2-point try.
And I think he's glad.
I think you're right. Joshua Cribbs, Seneca Wallace. And it will be Wallace under center. Cribbs goes in motion. Fake the handoff. Wallace throws. And that's ruled incomplete. Ryan Mundy there defensively as Wallace took a shot from Stevenson Sylvester, the rookie out of Utah. And Mundy landed out of bounds.
On a very cold and hard field, too. He's shaken up a bit.
Pittsburgh 41, the Browns 9 with 6:33 remaining in the fourth quarter. And coming up next, the Colts win, and they're in. The Jaguars need a win and some help. Also, San Diego meets Denver. Tim Tebow starting for the Broncos. Game 2 of our doubleheader right here on CBS. What's at stake? For the Colts and the Jaguars.
Of course, Peyton Manning going in and against the Colts, or against the Titans at home. That is huge. And of course, the Jaguars without David Garrard at Houston. That's tough.
And now Oakland has really opened it up against Kansas City. So an Indianapolis win, and they're going to be the 3 seed. Chasing Bowl 7. Oh, you're back. Troy's back. Polamalu with an interception to start things off here today. And the Steelers certainly have to feel good about themselves now. Heading into the postseason, we've talked about it, Dan, the amount of time off for the Steelers going back to the Thursday night game, 10 days before they had to play this one, and then a week off to watch the playoffs. Will be another potentially 13 days until they play again, depending upon how the schedule shakes out. Antonio Brown takes a knee.
Well, they started fast after that Polamalu interception. Ben Roethlisberger is going to waste absolutely no time. First play of the game offensively, he finds the speedy Mike Wallace for 56 yards. Roethlisberger doing it with his legs. He found 7 different receivers, and he got his tight end Heath Miller involved, which is a real good sign for Steeler fans.
15 of 22, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. Roethlisberger over 3,000 yards once again. Leftwich on a handoff for Jonathan Dwyer, seeing his first action in the NFL. Matt Roth with the tackle for Cleveland. Roethlisberger and Polamalu. And that's the veteran leadership. You know, Ben said it. Against Carolina, what he told his team before they took the field, hey, it's December football. The veterans know that, and the young guys on this team, if they don't know it, they're going to figure it out and follow the veterans. And now we've spilled over into January, where the stakes are even higher.
This is when you want to be playing your best football, and I think that on both sides of the ball, the defense has been dominant, and offensively, they did it on the ground. They had the big plays they needed, and they protected Roethlisberger perfectly.
Keep it on the ground for Dwyer, trying to wrestle himself away, but can't break free at the 25-yard line. In the postseason, Roethlisberger 8-2, a 2-time Super Bowl champion. The interceptions are down this year on a whole for Roethlisberger, only 5 picks this season. What do you attribute that to? Is it Ben maturing?
It's what Mike Tomlin told us. It is a maturing process with Ben, but also with his relationship with his receivers. In particular, Mike Wallace, and getting Heath Miller healthy on a consistent basis as well. So it's the entire offense. And let's give Bashard Mendenhall some credit too.
Leftwich throwing. Antoine Randall with a catch and a first down for Pittsburgh, so the Steelers can use more clock with 4:50 and counting left in the fourth quarter.
And you also got to remember, going back to the start of the season, that 4-game suspension may have matured Ben Roethlisberger a bit as well. His offseason that he had and the problems.
Now, there's no doubt in talking with people affiliated with the Pittsburgh Steelers that Ben came in humbled, and there's been a deeper connection between Ben and his teammates this year. Roethlisberger has been more relatable and has bonded more and gotten back to what he was when he started his NFL career back in 2004 as a first-round pick out of Miami, Ohio.
Well, humility is an important factor in any athlete, especially when you're surrounded by top athletes. They all have the ability to make plays and be difference makers. And your quarterback has to realize that it's not all about the quarterback. It's about the team. And that's where humility comes in, especially when you've embarrassed yourself either by your actions off the field or by your play on the field.
Steelers took a bus here to Cleveland, and they felt right at home here today. 41-9, Pittsburgh in front, 3.5 to go. On a slant, it's the rookie Antonio Brown making the catch for Pittsburgh. That's a 5-yard gain. This Steeler team is going to finish 7-1 on the road this season. Their streak against Cleveland, which has been incredible, will have won 14 of their last 15 against the Browns. 20 of 22 if you extend it. 116th all-time meeting, and Pittsburgh will lead with a mark of 60-56 against the Browns. 3rd and 3. Under 3 minutes to go. Handoff. It's Dwyer. And Dwyer runs into a wall short of the first down. Ataba Rubin, who leads all defensive linemen for tackles this season in the NFL. Game 2 of our NFL on CBS doubleheader is coming up. Tennessee at Indianapolis. The AFC South crown on the line, with Jacksonville playing in Houston and San Diego taking on Denver as those two teams wrap up their season in the AFC West. Now Steeler players motioning to the Steeler fans who made their way to Cleveland this weekend.
And the Steeler fans have made their way to the edge of the field too, down in the front row, cheering on their Steelers.
2-minute warning. Pittsburgh 41-9 over the Browns. Updated AFC playoff picture. New England the victory to go to 14-2. Pittsburgh will get the victory and secure the number 2 seed in the AFC. Kapanos the punt, and it rolls into the end zone for a touchback. Elsewhere around the AFC, Baltimore gets the win, but Pittsburgh owns the tiebreaker, so Baltimore will go in as the wild card. The Jets finish up at 11-5. Kansas City gets thumped by Oakland. They're down 21 with 2 minutes to play, so we'll give the Chiefs a loss to move to 10-6, and Indianapolis can move into the number 3 spot with a victory over Tennessee.
And I agree with you. I think the move by Charlie Weis to the University of Florida as their offensive coordinator affected the Kansas City offense negatively today, and especially the quarterback Matt Castle. Castle much improved this year under the tutelage of Charlie Weis, and Weis leaving at this time. The timing could not be worse for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, no doubt. And you're right. The relationship between Castle and Weis has been so strong. We've seen the improvement in Matt Castle from last year to this year. There's McCoy to throw. Benjamin Watson. And Watson leaps out of bounds. Now Watson will have put together a good day statistically. Couldn't make that first catch of the day, which led to the interception off the tip ball. Polamalu ended up with the football, and it's been all downhill from there for the Cleveland Browns. 2nd and 3 now. Watson, 7 catches, 67 yards. Over the middle, and it's too high. And Watson had room to run if he made the catch. And don't forget, Indianapolis has clinched nothing. Jacksonville can still win the division. Indianapolis still has to get the win to win the division and then possibly move into the 3 spot. NFC playoff picture. Atlanta, the 1 seed. Chicago at 11-4. Philadelphia at 10-5. Division winner in the NFC East, and St. Louis and Seattle. It's going to come down to that game to see who wins the NFC West. If the Giants and Green Bay lose, Tampa Bay would get the spot in the NFC. And McCoy will slide out to the 37-yard line. So that 1 playoff spot, 2 playoff spots if you include the NFC West, both up in the air now in the NFC. Shotgun McCoy, he throws. And it's Cribbs getting drilled out along the sideline by William Gay. The executive producer of the NFL on CBS is Sean McManus. The vice president of production, Harold Bryant. Today's game produced by Bob Monsbach, directed by Suzanne Smith. Senior producer of CBS Sports and the NFL Today is Eric Mann. McCoy. And he'll throw it out of bounds. The director of the NFL Today, Bob Mattina. Coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS, Lance Barrow. Coordinating producer of CBS Sports, Steve Karasik. The associate directors of today's game, Jonathan Siegel and Julie Landa. Broadcast associates, Eric Spitzer and Adam Holtzman. Technical manager, Doug Fleetum. Technical director, Terry Rosich. The audio supervisor, Dave Grunvig. Stats provided by David Freed, John Gwynn, our spotter, Jim Stamos. For the final 47 seconds of the regular season.
And Happy New Year, everybody, and thanks for a great season.
No, it's been terrific, Dan. Just great being with you throughout the year. Incomplete. Watson, the intended receiver. And only 41 seconds remain. And obviously the topic now in Cleveland will be Eric Mangini's future and the meeting that he has tomorrow with team president Mike Holmgren.
I'm afraid it's going to be a short meeting, too. This team has not improved the last half of the season. And today, just looked totally outclassed.
It's going to be back-to-back 5 and 11 seasons for Mangini as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Still 2 years remaining on his contract. Mike Bell is brought down. And he's got a first down for Cleveland out near midfield. 33 seconds left for Mangini. 5th year overall as a head coach. After the 3 years with the New York Jets, he was let go by the Jets after a 9-7 season. He interned in the Browns Public Relations Department back in 1994. Bill Belichick took a liking to him, was moved up the ladder, and then actually went to Baltimore under Ted Marchibroda in 1996 before landing with the Jets. Under Bill Parcells, eventually left the Jets with Bill Belichick when he took the New England job, won 3 Super Bowls as a member of the Patriots staff, got his opportunity with the Jets. After 3 years was let go, quickly scooped up by the Browns as their new head coach. And after 2 years, it could be the end. McCoy directing traffic downfield, and a flag is down as Brian Robisky was the intended receiver. Might have been a hold on that right side.
Holding. Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Yeah, I know rules are rules, but there are times when you can bend the rules.
Really? Was this one of them?
Probably you could overlook the holding.
Well, the regular season opponents for next year, and who knows who's going to be on this Browns team. And the one thing we've learned about the NFL, yeah, there are certain teams that year in and year out, you know they're going to be good, but you just don't know year to year in the NFL anymore.
There are some surprises, no question about it. The one thing we all hope for is that we do not have a lockout or a work stoppage of any type, and that we can start the regular season on time next year. If the two sides can get together with the new collective bargaining agreement. A lot at stake. A lot of jobs, a lot of money.
McCoy's pass is incomplete, looking on the out route. And Ben Roethlisberger's had a smile on his face throughout the day. Tennessee at Indianapolis, Jacksonville at Houston, San Diego at Denver. The second half of our doubleheader final Sunday of the regular season.
Yeah, when you throw your first pass of the day and it's a 56-yard touchdown to Mike Wallace, you have a tendency to have a smile on your face all day long. Great game by Roethlisberger and these Steelers.
And McCoy throwing it over the middle to Watson, but it's ruled incomplete.
Well, I don't think this will be challenged. Ball clearly comes out. K'Ron Fox one more time. on the coverage.
McCoy, 20 of 41, 209 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions to wrap up his rookie season. Give is to Bell, and Bell loses the football. Able to cover it up. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the number 2 seed in the AFC, and they are the champions of the AFC North. 41-9, the final. The Steelers over Eric Mangini and the Cleveland Browns. Game 2 of the doubleheader is coming up. For Dan Fouts, this is Ian Eagle. So long from Cleveland.